So I crack open my fortune cookie and it tells me, quote, you have the perfect family. At first, I was kind of flattered, right? Who us? Well, thank you so much. But then I totally shook my head and I remembered that striving for perfection was one of the major pitfalls that I used to deal with when I was super stressed and overwhelmed. And that is why this episode is dedicated to losing the word perfection from your vocabulary. Welcome to the Working Mom Mindset Podcast with me, Andryanna. I am learning to live a more balanced and intentional life as a working mom of 3 boys. My mission? To help other working parents enjoy the juggle with less stress and more ease. Let me help you as we work together to live through the chaos of work and family life and do it with grace, joy, and fun. What do you think? Are you ready? Hello, thank you so much for tuning in today. I can't wait to share this episode and my thoughts with you. So let's get right into it. So as I mentioned a few weeks ago, we had ordered Chinese takeout. Super delicious, one of my favorites. And of course, at the end, my kids' favorite part is to open the fortune cookies. So when I cracked my fortune cookie open, I was surprised to see the fortune that said, you have a perfect family. I wasn't sure that this was even a fortune, although I guess it's something that some people strive for. But B, it made me realize how wanting a perfect family and quote unquote perfect was something that I used to strive for. And perfection was something that I used to have a really hard time with in many aspects of my life. And it caused me to be really stressed and overwhelmed. So to constantly worry about perfection is such an uphill battle. And I'm sure that you can relate to this in one way or another. So when we're trying to achieve this impossible feat, because really, what is perfection? How can we achieve perfection? It is almost impossible. So when we're trying to achieve the impossible, we end up losing inevitably, right? And when we don't achieve this ridiculous standard, we feel bad because of it. So I thought that I had given up on trying to be perfect. This was something that I realized a few years ago when I started my journey to better balance. But when I opened this freaking cookie, it struck me that my tendency towards perfection was still hiding deep down somewhere in a dark corner of my brain. And a good example of it was the family photos that we had actually taken the day before I opened up the fortune cookie. So we were actually heading out to a family function, and that meant that Mama was getting her hair and her makeup done nice. And so I wanted to make sure that this moment was not lost. And so we combed the boys' hair, put them in some cute shirts, and we hunkered down for a few family photos within the 4 minutes before we had to leave for this family function. So I would also not recommend trying to get the quote unquote perfect family photo when you're rushing and trying not to be late for another event. But that's neither here nor there. So we're sitting in the side of our yard trying to get this family photo. And at one point, I was so worried about getting this beautiful picture that I was yelling at my kids and my husband and telling them to hurry up and fricking smile. So I don't know, it kind of hit me as I was losing my mind that, this is not really how I wanted my sons to remember the moment when they look back or when they see the photo on our wall. And so thankfully, I was able to catch myself, and I suggested that we do some silly shots, being fun, sticking out our tongues, making some silly faces. And of course, by doing that, it led to getting some really great candid shots and then some great smiling photos. So that is one example, of course, where striving for perfection could have left me in a really bad situation. And there have been more times than I can remember when I have let the pursuit of perfection get the best of me. Thankfully, I've learned ways to catch myself and snap out of it most of the time. And in these instances, we learn so that we can change our thoughts and strive for what is ultimately better than perfection. My hope for my family is to foster and create values that lead to everyone in the family being kind, happy, considerate, conscientious, giving, and caring. And I believe that it's through imperfection that we will continue to live and learn these traits. So let's go through a quick example where we can determine how imperfection is better and why we should lose that word perfection or being perfect when it comes to our thoughts and our vocabulary. So let's take a few deep breaths. And I want you to think about a time where things did not go as anticipated. Is there a time that you can remember where things went, quote unquote, wrong or took a different direction than you thought it should, but ultimately it led to some awesome moments or it led to something even better than what you had originally imagined? Think about that for a second. Have you thought of something? Great. So this could be something with your family. It could be something in your personal life. It could be something in your professional life, something that happened at work, perhaps a project, perhaps something with a coworker or with a friend or with a family member. And essentially what I would like for you to think about is how if things actually went perfectly, quote unquote, or as according to what you wanted it to initially, you wouldn't have had the chance for this new, better, and more amazing thing to happen. So in the imperfection, we can achieve amazing things. And when we're not so solely focused with blinders on at one particular thing that we think is perfect or the only route or the best thing for us, we're not open to receiving new ideas or getting different opinions or looking at things through a new lens. And so let's think about changing our narrative. And instead of striving for perfection, let's take a look at how imperfection has caused us to learn and to do amazing things. So pat yourself on the back for being open, being honest with yourself, and realizing that perfection is not a word that needs to be in your vocabulary. Like me, I am taking that fortune cookie and I'm taking that message and I am returning it to the store. Fortune cookie, you can have your perfect family. I am striving for much more than perfection. And that is today's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Working Mom Mindset podcast. If you like this episode, I would love if you give a good rating and a review. And if you think you know someone who could learn a thing or two from this episode, please share it with them as well. Until the next episode, you can find me on Instagram at the Working Mom Mindset. I am super excited to see you there, and I can't wait to see you here next time. Take good care.